Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be sharing with you guys my top 5 fragrances that I've been reaching for this fall. I have quite a few fragrances in my collection, but these 5 I've been gravitating towards a lot. I like to switch up my fragrances based off of my mood a lot of times, but these 5 I feel like is my top 5 list for the fall winter time. I haven't done a fragrance video in probably 2 years. The last one I did was my top 5 most complimented fragrances. I'll link that video down below. So you're going to see quite a few colognes and fragrances in this list that wasn't in my last video. It's no secret that I'm a huge fan of fragrances. I love how fragrances is a very personal way of expressing your style and your character and who you are as a person, I find. I feel like you can tell a lot about a person based off of the fragrance that they pick out for themselves. And I just love how personal, intimate, and expressive it is. It's one of my favorite things to collect. I will do a video in the future showing you guys kind of my whole collection, but in the meantime, we're going to be doing this top 5 list. So, number 5 on this list is by Jo Malone. This is the Wood, Sage, and Sea Salt. And this fragrance is one that probably got me started on my perfume journey. And so the fragrance actually came out, I think, in 2014. And it's kind of like a fragrance that is aquatic, I would say. I feel like the inspiration behind this fragrance was actually the English coast, I believe. Like the name suggests, the notes in this fragrance is sage and sea salt, and there's a bit of amber in there as well. And it's a unisex fragrance. I feel like it's really warm and cozy. With that said, since this was my first kind of fragrance that kind of got me started on my perfume journey, the scent is very nostalgic to me, but I do find it that I'm a little bit sick of it. So I do reach for this a little bit less, but I do always wear this in the fall time. And I feel like this fragrance is quite popular, so I do notice it on the street when somebody wears it, but it's definitely an inoffensive scent. I feel like it's appropriate for many occasions in the office, dinner out, and most people would like it. And I do think it is a unisex fragrance. In terms of my ranking for this product, I would say the scent is a 3 out of 5. I'm quite picky with fragrances. The 3 out of 5 is not a bad rating, it's just that compared to all the other scents on this list, I'm gonna rank it kind of mid-tier. The uniqueness of this, I would give it a 4 out of 5 actually. Out of the marine fragrances that I've smelled, I feel like this is really quite unique. I haven't really smelled anything quite like this. In terms of the projection of this fragrance, I'm gonna give it actually a 2 out of 5. I feel like you don't really project a lot with this fragrance, and I feel like you have to get pretty close to you in order to kind of smell it, which I know that some people like. They don't like such an aggressive scent. And in terms of longevity, I'm giving it a 2 out of 5 as well. Jo Malone fragrances don't last long at all. That's the one caveat with this. I feel like all Jo Malone fragrances tend to not last very long, and you need to spray quite a bit. It is an eau de toilette, so it is supposed to be less strong than an eau de parfum, but with that said, even you're paying quite a bit of money for this, so I do wish that they changed it up a little bit so that it would last a little bit longer on the skin. I've heard a lot of people talk about the fact that Jo Malone doesn't really last long on the skin, but I guess some people would like that. But this ranks at number 5 in terms of my top 5 list. The next item on my list is from the house of Dyptique. This is Dyptique's Vetyverio. I'm probably bastardizing the name. But this is also an eau de toilette, and this is, I feel like this is what France smells like. It's smoky, it's warm, it's mysterious, and there's also a note in there that I can't quite put my finger on, but I find it to be a very sexy scent and a very unique scent. This is a fragrance that did come out in 2010, and according to my research, it does have notes of mandarin and grapefruit, which I don't actually smell that much. I'm not a big fan of citrus fragrances, and I don't really smell, I feel like the citrus scent notes in this is really well blended so that it's not too forward, which I really appreciate. But there's also Turkish rose and geranium in this, which I feel like is quite pronounced, and it's what kind of gives it a very unique edge, you know. I do think this is probably the most mature scent out of the ones on this list, and even though it is a unisex scent, I feel like it leans a little bit more masculine in my opinion. And in a weird way, it also has kind of a note of like kind of a cigarette body odor kind of note, like really subtly in there, which kind of makes you want to smell it more in a weird way. It's a very unique scent. With that said, my final ranking for this, I feel like this fragrance is going to be a bit polarizing. Not everybody's going to like this, but if you are kind of somebody that wants to stand out from the crowd, I think this would be a really good one to go. I feel like it would be more appropriate for the evening time in my opinion, but it could work in the day as well. I would not wear this to the office, however, because it is quite strong. In terms of my ranking, I gave the scent ranking for this one to be a 4 out of 5. I feel like the scent is really well blended and it's quite unique, which I really appreciate. And that goes into my next point. I also gave it a 4 out of 5 for its uniqueness in terms of the fragrance. In terms of projection, I gave it a 3 out of 5. It's average, I would say. I feel like if somebody walked past you, they could smell it on you, but you're not necessarily going to smell it if you are in a big crowd, I would say, and especially outdoors. And in terms of longevity, I also gave it a 3 out of 5. It lasts about 4 to 5 hours on my skin at least. This is also an eau de toilette, so that kind of could explain why. The eau de toilettes are designed to be reapplied onto your skin. This ranks at number 4 in my list. So number 3 on my list is from the House of Chanel, and it is the Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme. This is probably the most mainstream fragrance in this list and in my collection. Chanel male fragrances are all very citrusy, I find. And they all smell like aftershave, I feel like. But this one, in terms of its scent, I feel like it's the one that I've had the least personal connection to. But it is one that, without fail, I always get a compliment. If I wear this out, people always compliment me on terms of how good I smell. But when I smell it, I don't actually feel like a personal connection to it. So I tend to just wear this when, this is just a secret, but when I feel I have no investment in my night out. If I basically am just going to be meeting somebody I don't really know, or if I'm just going to like a business meeting or something, this is something that I will use. I think part of the reason why I don't have a personal connection with this is that the citrus and mandarin notes in this fragrance is really, really pronounced. It's a very classic citrus smell, I would say. And it's very inoffensive. It just smells like a standard cologne. I don't feel like it's as unique as the rest of the items on this list. And it is the only fragrance on this list that is for men exclusively. All the other fragrances are unisex, so keep that in mind. I don't feel like fragrances should be gendered in my opinion. You can just wear whatever you want, but it is marketed towards men. Also definitely a nighttime fragrance, and it is a really great clubbing fragrance. I feel like it works really well on a night out of drinking, or if you're going for a night out. This is the one I reach for if I'm going out on a Friday night. In terms of my rankings for this, I gave the scent a 3 out of 5, just kind of mid-tier. I don't feel a personal connection to it, but I do get compliments on this all the time. In terms of uniqueness, I also gave it a 3 out of 5. I feel like it's not the most unique fragrance, but it's also, I feel like, universally liked. In terms of projection, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I feel like it projects quite a long distance. People can smell you from a larger distance than the previous two. And longevity, I also gave it a 4 out of 5. I can apply this in the morning time and I'll still smell like this in the evening. So a little bit goes a long way with this. It is an eau de perfume, so also keep in that mind. An eau de perfume has more perfume oils in comparison to an eau de toilette. All right, so the next item on my list is from Kiehl's. And I think this was on my list for my most complimented fragrances before. And this fragrance is probably the oldest one on my list. I think it came out in 1963. And it is a unisex fragrance from Kiehl's, and it is the most budget friendly. I feel like this is about 50 bucks for this bottle. And this fragrance is, in America, I feel like not a lot of people wear this, but when I first discovered this in Korea, everybody was wearing this. This and Lush is Dirty was all over the streets in Korea. Like every guy and girl was wearing this. So whenever I smell this, it just brings me back to like kiehl in Korea. But this fragrance is probably one of the best musk scents I've can come across. The musk in this is very pleasant and almost soap-like, but it's very pronounced. It is titled Original Musk. The notes in this include bergamot, nectar, orange blossom, rose, lily, ylang-ylang, neroli, tonka, and white patchouli. The patchouli, you'll notice it. So if you don't like patchouli, I don't think you'll like this. I do think also that this fragrance isn't for everybody. Some people I know really don't like this, but other people just find it to be very clean smelling, kind of smells like soap. But yeah, I think it's a really great fragrance for the fall time. It's very warm, very cozy, and it's something that I do reach for every fall. In terms of my rankings, I gave the scent of this fragrance a 4 out of 5. I feel like it's blended really well, and I have a personal connection to this. I feel like it reflects kind of my personal style really well. So I'm giving the scent a 4 out of 5. In terms of uniqueness, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5. It's not, I feel like the way it's blended, it's very distinct, but it's not the most unique. In terms of projection, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. This one really does project quite a long way. I can, sometimes on the street, if somebody's wearing this, I can smell it from like almost, even if they're like a foot away, I can smell it. And in terms of longevity, I also gave it a 4 out of 5. This lasts a really long time on the skin. But what's really surprising about this is the fact that it's not an eau de perfume, it's an eau de toilette. But I do feel like it projects more and lasts longer than even some of the eau de perfumes on this list. So yeah, go Kiehl's. This is definitely one that I would recommend to students or people on a budget because it's quite affordable. Cool, and now we are at the #1 item on my list. And I've never shared this on my YouTube channel before, and I'm kind of scared to because this is my signature scent. It's my all-time favorite fragrance. I have not encountered another fragrance that I like as much as this, and it is from the house of Le Labo, and it is Another 13. This fragrance came out in 2010, and it was originally a city exclusive that was only available in Paris, I believe, when it was originally launched, but then it was so popular that I think Le Labo included it in its main line. I think the inspiration behind this fragrance is that it's supposed to smell like the pages of a fresh magazine. And it was actually made in collaboration with another magazine and Le Labo. This fragrance is so inviting, so warm, clean, and unique. And I feel like it reflects everything that I am as a human being. It's just so warm and classy. I really, really, really like it. I never get sick of this. I can drench myself in this and I'm never sick of this. And I feel like this is a fragrance that's appropriate for all occasions. The main notes in this are amber, I believe. Amber, and there's amber in here, jasmine, moss, amberette seed, and there's also notes of pear. But if you haven't smelled this, please get yourself over to a Le Labo counter and smell it and do yourself a favor. It just smells like a warm, cozy fall day. Like that's what this reminds me of. And it's, every time I smell it, I feel like everything is okay in the world. As you can see, I'm actually like, I probably have like one spray left of this and I have to get a refill, but this is probably the most expensive fragrance on this list. So I've been putting off getting a refill on this, but this is definitely my forever fragrance. In terms of rankings, I gave the scent a 5 out of 5. It's my all-time favorite scent of all time. And not only is it unique, but it works in every occasion. Like, you could use it in the office, you could have it on a night out, clubbing. I get compliments all the time if I wear this. In terms of uniqueness, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I've never smelled another amber-based fragrance quite like this. In terms of projection though, I would give it actually a 2 out of 5. You have to get pretty close to yourself in order to smell it. But in terms of longevity, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Hey guys, so that wraps up this top 5 fragrance list. I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to do videos like this more often and more frequently and recommend you guys fragrances that I really like and fragrances that I'm trying out. So yeah, I would also love to know any personal fragrances that you guys have. I love reading about fragrances and love smelling different scents. So recommend me one that you guys would love me to kind of smell at the beauty counter. In any case, if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe and that bell button, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye.